Black ink. Revelry in the dark.
Yeah, I don't actually have a black blanket. But we continue with the predictions for Class 1A versus Class 1B. But before that, let's talk about this last chapter that just came out. So I will be spoiling it if you haven't seen the most recent chapter. I'll just put a little time code of when that part is over. But yes, the second fight has started, and I didn't even consider how Kendall felt when she was comparing herself to Momo. Also, the contrast between Kendall being quick thinking and Momo, who is just now starting to develop that I actually did cover a little bit in the last video. So in a straight 1 versus 1 fight, I think Kendall might actually win. However, this is a team fight, so it might start off as a 1v1 because Kendall just straight up challenged Momo, but then someone probably comes in at the last second and helps. But this is, so far, is not very team oriented, with Kendall challenging Momo and then Shihai challenging Tokoyami. So I was partially right in my last prediction, but I was so wrong about Shihai's quirk. But I'm really excited to see the throwdown with that and what Tokoyami's fallen angel is that he learned from Hawks. So we've got Todoroki, we've got Ida, we've got Ojiro, and we've got my boy Shoji. On the other end, we have Heart of Steel, Tetsu Tetsu. You can't possibly look plainer Sen, the Titan look and other recommendation student Juzo, and the cute foreigner Pony. Let's start with Sen. His quirk is called Gyrate, don't look that up on Google Images. And what I think about what he can do is maybe be able to make anything he touches spin really fast. That sounds lame at first, but try to imagine it like the Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes if you're old enough to know what Looney Tunes is. Basically, Sen can spin himself really fast like a tornado, and he can move really fast, and everything he touches gets shot away because he's spinning so fast. And that's how physics works, I guess. It's anime, just deal with it. Since with this quirk he doesn't really get dizzy, kind of like Shindo, yeah, that's his name, the earthquake guy from the provisional training license arc. He has sonic resistance from Gangorka. Maybe this guy has like dizziness resistance, or maybe you're just exactly the same, gyrate and vibration. He can just make earthquakes too. Who knows? Spin the whole earth around. Next we have Juzo. Besides Tetsu Tetsu, Juzo is the only one on this team in which we've seen his quirk active, although really only a couple times during the sports festival. He is one of the few students accepted into UA through recommendations. I'd like to know more about that, because with Todoroki and Momo we see that they're from wealthy households, one of which being at the time the number 2 hero, Endeavor, who is now the number 1 hero. Also, Todoroki and Momo really showcase that they are strong people with really strong, usually overpowered quirks. And I'm curious as to what Juzo's deal is. I don't think his quirk is as strong as Todoroki's or Momo's as for what we've seen, but it is still stronger than a lot of people's in UA. He turns the floor into quicksand, for goodness sake. So my question is, can he use his quirk on other people? I ask because it never specified, and it usually specifies this in people's quirks, like Shihai in the last chapter. He can control anything black when he merges into it, as long as it could already move naturally. So he can still go into, say, a black pipe like he did, but he can't move it or possess it. But if he stays in Dark Shadow or Tokoyami himself, because his bird head is black, he can control that. So that's some weird possession stuff, and that's kind of creepy. If I'm being honest. Anyways, Juzo, I keep messing up his name. Can he soften people so that they just like kind of collapse to the ground? Sort of like Mr. Meatball Dude from the provisional license exam. That might be overpowered, but I can see an attack coming at him and he just like touches the tree or pipes next to him and it falls in front of him, giving him like a shield. Something else about him is that he did come in 5th in the sports festival race, the preliminary race thing. So he's certainly nobody to scoff at, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Let's move on to the one and only Pony. So as far as enrollment goes, I don't know if her and Rin had to do the entrance test. Then again, this is considered the best hero school in all of Japan, and I actually don't even know how the foreign exchange student system thing works in our world anyways, but that's not really important. The important thing here is that she's got giant eyes and her quirk is called Horn Cannon. You can't get more epic than that. The only thing we know is that she's physically strong, at least, yeah, like a horse as the wiki describes it. In the sports festival, she was teamed up with the centipede-looking guy. He had weird claws sticking out of his face. And she was on all fours charging into battle for the cavalry battle with him on her back. But I just love her aesthetic. She's got a little tail, the Clydesdale feet, the eyes, the horns. And wait, I just thought of something. She's supposed to be a horse, but horses don't have horns. She's not a unicorn. Her tail looks more like a goat, so her design is more based off of a satyr, or maybe she's a duocorn. I don't know. Her hero outfit is also resembling a jockey uniform, so I don't even know anymore. Anyways, another cute quirky thing about her, as being a foreigner, speaking Japanese is difficult for her. So her speech patterns are always kind of off. I can't wait for the scene where Momo is teaching her bad phrases when that gets in the English dub, because she is an American foreign exchange student and I just think it'll be funny to see how Funimation handles that. But I think she only says a couple words during the sports festival, so we need more Pony. I'm really starting to get off track here. Let's try to get back on track. For a quirk, we can assume that obviously the horns on her head are her quirk. We don't know exactly if her tail or feet are part of her quirk or not. Being that she will probably use a charging attack, I think she might be like Gangorka, where she can send like supersonic shock waves into people. So, or maybe she can just impale people with her horns. That'd be kind of awesome and violent. Or even what I'm really hoping for, that'll probably never happen, is that she can just summon energy from her horns and shoot out a giant blast of energy out of her from in between her horns. I can dream, can't I? Lastly, we have Tetsu. His quirk is pretty straightforward, like Kirishima's. He probably developed a monster form like Kirishima did too. Do about anything Kirishima can do. Tetsu. He can probably just do the same thing. They're basically clones. And I can see him being the main opponent for Todoroki. I mean, steel doesn't have a super high melting point. But it's anime. Maybe he can harden himself into tungsten. But I mean, on the plus side, he can protect himself from bullets. So, yeah. So looking at other potential fights, maybe Juzo fights Todoroki because of the whole recommendation dealio. Because so far it seems Juzo and Todoroki are the only ranged fighters out of the 8 that are there. But I think it'd be funny for him to just like put up a giant ice wall, then Pony just charges straight through it like it's nothing. Also, I'm looking and maybe Pony versus Ida would be cool because I think Pony could possibly be just as fast as Ida because I mean as far as tropes go, horses are fast, so she'll be super fast. Who knows? But there aren't really any connections like there were for the last battle, and I guess in the picture or of the teams, Ojiro and Sen are both doing like the arm stretch thing behind their back, so maybe they'll fight. That's the only connection I have for them. But that's all I can think of. One more thing. Potentially Pony charges straight into Shoji and he's maybe like trying to push her back because he's like probably the physically strongest dude in all of Class A, probably besides Sato. Is I don't really know. They're just drawn with huge giant muscles and torsos. Or maybe he can go against Tetsu Tetsu because of his massive grip strength. He can like crush his arm, his steel arm, which is very violent for Shoji's character and Buddhist aesthetic. Or, last idea, Jizo can soften the ground by Shoji, but he can just like kind of walk on top of it still because he's enlightened or something, kind of like the people that can walk over the hot rocks. He can maybe just negate the quicksand. But that'd be cool. But I'm just throwing any ideas out there, and we'll have to wait and see if any of them are right when this fight happens, so that I can just say I told you so. That's gonna do it for this video. Next time is going to be looking at Elmer's versus Scotch. It's a very utility-based fight here, well, besides Bakugo. But I've already got some good ideas for what could go down there. Let me know your predictions for this battle, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.